जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। राम राम राम। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा मदन मोहन, राधा मदन मोहन राधे। जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ, बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा। जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की युगधर्म श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तनम की all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 2, Daksha curses Lord Shiva, Text 26. sarva-bhakṣā dvijā vṛttyai dhṛta-vidyā-tapo-vratāḥ vitta-dehendriyārāmā yācakā vicaranviha sarva-bhakṣā dvijā vṛttyai dhṛta-vidyā-tapo-vratāḥ vitta-dehendriyārāmā yācakā vicaranviha sarva-bhakṣā dvijā vṛttyai dhṛta-vidyā-tapo-vratāḥ vitta-dehendriyārāmā yācakā vicaranviha. Mataji. What meaning? Sarva-bhakṣā, eating everything. Dvijā, the brahmanas. Vṛttyai, for maintaining the body. dhṛta-vidyā, having taken to education. tapaḥ, austerity. vṛttyai, the vows. vitta, money. deha, the body. indriya, the senses. ārāmā, satisfaction. yācakā, as beggars. vicarantv, let them wander. iha, here. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. These brahmanas take to education, austerity and vows only for the purpose of maintaining the body. They shall be devoid of discrimination between what to eat and what not to eat. They will acquire money begging from door to door simply for the satisfaction of the body. Purport. The third curse inflicted by Nandishvara on the brahmanas who supported Daksha is completely functioning in this age of Kali. The so-called brahmanas are no longer interested in understanding the nature of the Supreme Brahman. Although a brahmana means one who has attained knowledge about Brahman. In the Vedānta-sūtra also it is stated, Atato brahma-jijñāsā. This human form of life is meant for realization of the Supreme Brahman, the absolute truth, or in other words, human form of life is meant for one's elevation to the post of a brahmana. Unfortunately, the modern brahmanas are so-called brahmanas who come in originally brahmanical families have left their own occupation duties, but they do not allow others to occupy the posts of brahmanas. The qualifications for brahmanas are described in the scriptures in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad-gītā and all other Vedic literatures. Brahmana is a not hereditary title or position. If someone from a non-brahmana family, for example, one born in the family of Shudra, tries to become brahmana by being properly qualified under the institution of a bona fide spiritual master, these so-called brahmanas will object. Such brahmanas, having been cursed by Nandishvara, are actually in a position where they have no discrimination between eatables and non-eatables and simply live to maintain the perishable material body and its family. Such fallen conditioned souls are not worthy to be called brahmanas. But in Kali-yuga, they claim to be brahmanas, and if a person actually tries to attain the brahmanical qualifications, they try to hinder his progress. This is the situation in the present age. Caitanya Mahāprabhu condemned this principle very strongly. During his conversation with Rāmānanda Rāya, he said that regardless of whether a person is born in a Brahmana family or Shudra family, regardless of whether he is a householder or a sannyasi, if he knows the science of Krishna, he must be a spiritual master. Caitanya Mahāprabhu had many so-called Sudra disciples like Haridas Thakur and Rāmānanda Rāya. Even the Goswamis, who were principal students of Lord Caitanya, were also ostracized from the Brahmana society. But Caitanya Mahāprabhu, by his grace, made them first-class Vaishnavas. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामो राम राम हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Seeking blessings from His Grace Anandamaya Prabhu and all the assembled Vaishnavas, so that I can repeat the words of Srila Prabhupada and spiritual master for my own purification and as a service to all the Vaishnavas. So today's topic is titled as Misdirected Intelligence of Modern Brahmanas. So more or less everybody is like that only by the mercy of Prabhupada. Our intelligence is again properly directed. So I am one such among thousands of souls who was redirected to the proper goal of life. So here Nandishwara is giving curse. So how it is very very powerfully acting in the age of Kali. Prabhupada is writing here. So one of the thing what Nandishwara is mentioning that these brahmanas, they don't know what to eat and what not to eat. So interestingly, in one of the lecture of in the 5th canto, Prabhupada is saying that the division of castes is according to the eating also, what they eat. So the more person refined, their eating habits also very very refined. They don't eat anything and everything anywhere and everywhere. So everything is restricted. The more persons become pure, so they have more and more regulative principles to follow. But the person is lower standards, they have more liberal for them. So in the sense, the brahmanas eating habit should be very very pure. And in the Bhagavad-gītā also, in the divine and demonic qualities also, that one verse comes, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidhurasura na saucham na pichacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. So these people doesn't know what to be done and what not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior is nor truth is found in them. So this is the one of the feature. I remember actually when I was doing my engineering, so one of my senior, we happened to meet in a mess, hotel kind of thing. So he was born in a Brahmana family. So he was eating, non-veg. And how he was justifying that, see, a Brahmana is not supposed to eat in hotel only, first of all. And so we are eating in a hotel where non-veg is cooked. And if that is in the plate of person who is sitting next to me, what is wrong if the same thing is in my own plate? So that is what is justification. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki, Shri Shri Gaunitaya ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So in that way, we can see how much everybody got completely bewildered in this world. And Prabhupada called these educational institutions are like spiritual slaughterhouses. They completely eliminated whatever little inclination is there towards spirituality. And we know that Prabhupada went to MIT Institute and he was taken a tour over the whole college. There are almost 50 departments are there. And Prabhupada said there is no department which can study the difference between dead body and living body. And Prabhupada made an interesting statement. Yours is MIT, but where is the knowledge about Almighty? There is no knowledge about Almighty in the MIT. And in this degradation we can see very gradually in these spiritual circles, and if you see in the Christian religion, they believe in the existence of soul, but they don't believe in reincarnation. So that is very interesting principle. And they say human being is having soul and animal is having spirit. So that's why we can kill. What is that spirit? That's why Prabhupada used the spirit soul word. For them, animal is having spirit and human is having soul. So that is very interesting philosophy. And in Buddhism, if you see, they believe in reincarnation, but they don't believe in soul. It is a soulless reincarnation. They cannot explain what is that it reincarnates, but they say that reincarnation is there, according to them. So such a bewildering philosophies come up, when the degradation of brahmanas starts. And Prabhupada often, whenever education comes, he used to refer this verse, Maya Apahrita Jnana. So, first of all, knowledge is stolen away and you are giving knowledge. So, after knowledge is stolen away, what is the purpose of giving knowledge? So, what is happening in the society in modern education is, first of all, you have taken away the knowledge and you are trying to impart that knowledge. So, what is that knowledge? What Bhagavad-gītā is referring as actually, we are getting the knowledge, but more important is, we have to have the right purpose for which we have to use that knowledge. So that is the most important knowledge. That is the purpose. So what is the purpose of this knowledge? So that is the most important knowledge. So Maya Apahrita Jnana means actually that purpose is only taken away and we are left with no purpose or almost all useless purpose. And Prabhupada said, for many people it is little shocking that Prabhupada said we don't need education only. Whatever education we are having, it is more or less useless. What we need is culture. Culture defines why we are living, for what purpose we are living. So that's what is to be taught first. And ABCD, whatever we have, education, that is only meant to spread that culture. So first of all, we have defined the culture only as wrong culture. Our culture itself is eating, drinking, and be merry. So with whatever education technology we have, we developed, and we are spreading that culture. And in that way, people don't have education also can have good culture. When they surrender to bona fide spiritual master and pure devotees and hear submissively from them, then automatically they have very good culture. And even though with almost no education also, little education also, they can live very happily. Now we can see that modern education with no culture, and in spite of having wonderful education, people are suffering like anything. People don't know how to dress. People don't know that bathing also properly. They don't bathe nowadays in colleges and everywhere. Once in 4 days they bathe, I heard. So this is the effect of having education and no culture at all. And and modern education is more or less, it is like Prabhupada said, it is a manina bhushita sarpa. And a poisonous snake, if there is a valuable diamond is there, it is, diamond is very shining, so we don't see what is there below. But when you try to take it, the snake bites and the person dies. In the same way, the education is very attractive, but the result which is giving is very, very terrible. And if you see, people are so intelligent nowadays also, but it requires tremendous amount of intelligence to manufacture anything and do anything. So, but for what the purpose the intelligence is used? If you see that dushkritina, Prabhupada used to use the word dushkritina. So, people are creating missiles, big fighter aeroplanes. All these things, tremendous amount of intelligence is involved in doing the research and creating all those things. But ultimately, the end result is very, very disastrous. And we remember in those days, the September 11 incident happened. That is, I was doing my engineering final year at that time. So it was really shocking how much they are intelligent to do that. They could very intelligently hijack the aeroplane, and the aeroplane is filled with the fuel, and they could hit the building exactly at right location. It is said, if you hit at that location, whole building will collapse. It is at around 40th story building. It is 100-story building, but there is a very strategic point actually. There only you have to hit. So they exactly did it actually. So we are surprised about their intelligence actually. How much they are highly educated people actually. It's not that only foolish people cannot do all those things. So in this way we can see people are becoming more and more intelligent, but less and less with having any common sense. So the same thing once Einstein said, that now our technology exceeded our humanity. It is very high time that we have to have increase our humanity. It's not wrong with the technology, first of all, that it is the more problem that we are not able to use the technology for right purpose. So that's what happened. Anywhere, if something is given beyond our capacity, already human being is more or less bodily conscious, and technology is given in more and more, that puts the person more and more in ignorance. And in that way, he will become very helplessly ruined in his life. So, and we see in the first canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Prabhupada explains about what exactly is this Brahmana and Vaishnava in the first canto, second chapter, Second verse. So, in general, everybody is born Shudra. In Kali-yuga, Janmana Jayate Shudra, Samskarat Bhavet Dvija. Here Prabhupada is writing. Generally, a man is born as an ordinary being, but by the purificatory process, he is born for the second time. So, everybody has to, by birth, everybody is same, more or less like an animal. And Prabhupada says, interestingly, if you see, there is no difference between a human child or puppy. If it is born, that is more or less like same only actually. There is no difference, because that is also in ignorance and that is also in ignorance. When they grow, there will be little difference. But as soon as born, there is no difference between a monkey child or human child or dog child or something. It is more or less it is same only. So that's why it is called actually human being has to again take birth they have to undergo the samskaras. By the purificatory process, he is born for the second time. When he sees a new light and seeks direction for the spiritual progress, he approaches a spiritual master for the instruction in the Vedas. The spiritual master accepts only the sincere inquirer as his disciple and gives him the sacred thread. In this way, a man becomes twice born or dvijā. After qualifying as dvijā, one may study the Vedas, and after becoming well versed in the Vedas, one becomes a vipra. A vipra or qualified brahmana thus realizes the absolute and makes further progress in the spiritual life until he reaches the Vaishnava stage. So, after approaching spiritual master under his direction, when one studies the Vedic literature, then he becomes Vipra, Brahmana. And we see Sudama Vipra story. He is a Brahmana. So, when he studies the Vedas and understand that Brahma-jnāna, that is, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the spirit soul, then he becomes Brahmana. And when he engages with that knowledge in the service of Lord, then he becomes Vaishnava. So that is the progression is there. So, but unfortunately, that birth is given very much importance in the Smartha community and everywhere. And this we can see, our acharyas has to so much fight against these misconceptions. When Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was taking that during Kartik month Vraj Parikrama, at that time there is a lot of opposition, because he was initiating people from any background and giving them the Brahman Diksha and everything. So the caste Goswamis, they literally closed all the temples so that these people will not come into the temples and not only that, actually they throwed stones also on this whole yatra party. And at that time that became a big news in the newspapers and everywhere. And Gaudiya Math got a lot of sympathy, because these people are right, these people are envious, they are doing all these things. And it is said Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur refused to file any complaint also, because he told, because of them, in all newspapers headlines it came. So it is a very amazing publicity, because of which they happened. So it will not happen even if you try to give publicity in any other means. So they are doing such a great favor. Why should we do any complaint about it? So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati did not put complaint also. Sometimes this apparently misfortunate situations, when a person is deeply Krishna conscious, that turn out to be very favorable situations also. This is one of that such instance. It may seem apparently it is a great defeat, but because of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's great absorption in Krishna consciousness, he converted into a great blessing. And we can see something similar that yesterday incident also, that Govardhan Puja. Apparently it is a great calamity. But Krishna converted that calamity into a very blissful event by lifting Govardhan. It is a great, you know, and troublesome situation because so much torrents of rain is falling, and all the cows are in trouble, all the Vrajavasis are in trouble. So when a person takes shelter of the Lord in all situations of life, then even though apparently misfortunate situations, they can also become very joyful moments also. So here we can see even that Prabhupada also, when he brought some of his disciples to Vrindavan, there also when they are visiting the Goswami's temples, in one of the temple, one pujari said to one Western devotee that you are doing very nicely bhakti, you keep continue like this, in your next life you can become pujari in our temple. You will born as Vrindavan and you will become pujari. So he becomes so happy hearing that, and he comes and he tells Prabhupada, I got that blessing. Very, very innocently he says. Prabhupada says, that fellow is not blessing you, he is taunting you, he is ridiculing you, that you are low born and everything. But you go and tell him that you continue your services, whatever you are doing, in your next life you will be born in ISKCON and distributing books on the streets in the Sankirtan movement. So you are in much glorious position than them. So that's what now the month of marathon also coming actually. So we can see how by coming in contact with a pure devotee actually, how much the person who can be elevated to any extent. So the whole unfortunate situation started actually that when we offend a great souls, then what will happen? The person's conditioning increases like anything. So this is the conditional nature, what is inflicted upon living entity. We can see that Nalakuver Manigriva also, when they offended Narada Muni, so they were put into such conditional nature of trees. So our conditioning increases as when we commit offenses towards great souls. Here they became conditioned to such an extent, they lost their intelligence, what to eat, what not to eat. So such a terrible conditioning a person can develop by disrespecting great souls. And in that way, brahmanas are supposed to help the whole society by teaching the sense control. The primary qualities of brahmana is sense control. That we see in the Bhagavad-gītā, the qualities of brahmana is mentioned, as Prabhupada said in this purport also, that Shamo Damo Tapas Saucham Kshantirarjavamevacha Jnana Vijnana Mastikyam Brahma Karma Samavacham. So the first quality is peacefulness. And we can see here actually how much peaceful they are, cursing each other. Self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the brahmanas work. So people lost all these qualities completely. Actually, Lord is glorified as Brahmanya Devaya. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya cha, Jagad Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So, why he is called Brahmana Devaya? Because Brahmanas having these qualities actually. So, when a person is having these qualities, then he become eligible to serve the Lord. Otherwise, he is not peaceful, he is not self-controlled. Then he will disturb the Lord always. I want this, because he is not content in his life. So when you are serving a great soul, you are keep on harassing, that personality. You cannot serve that personality. So you have to be peacefully situated. That's what we see when uh, they are searching for a servant to Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu, they select Balabhadra Bhattacharya. So that is one of the qualities that actually he is very, very peaceful person. So a peaceful person can, serve very nicely, and he requires a sense control also, over his mind and senses, and with his sleep and eating habits. Otherwise, our whole time goes in that only, and we cannot render any proper service. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, that Jivera lalasa iti utidai, Sishna udara parayana, Krishna nahipaya. So, see here, we can see that how Brahmanas became so much uncontrolled in their habits. And that is what is also related to that advent of Lord Buddha. So they went to such an extent that they are indiscriminately killing so many animals, and they are justifying that also. So this is one of the amazing feature of modern Brahmanas. They do all nefarious activities, and they use their intelligence to justify their nefarious activities. So in that way they are very, very intelligent. The intelligence will be redirected to justifying our activities. And it is said actually, when you commit a mistake, and when that is a first mistake, but when you make an excuse for the mistake, that is a second mistake. So in that way, now Brahmanas do all kinds of so-called Brahmanas, all nefarious activities, but they have so much justification for whatever they are doing. So the whole Varnashrama system collapsed because of this. When Brahmanas tried to dominate other institutions only in the name of a caste and everything, so that created a unhealthy atmosphere, and over a period of time the Kshatriyas started rebelling towards Brahmanas, and in that way that dictatorship started. And afterwards Vaishyas understood that, so we are supplying everything to these people, so why we should surrender to them. So they started to take over Kshatriyas. In that way some different kind of ruling system started, and finally Sudras started rebelling towards all other people. And Prabhupada called this is as democracy, by the Shudras, for the Shudras, of the Shudras. So whole Varnashrama system completely got collapsed because of the Brahmanas being not properly aligned with the principles of God. And Prabhupada is writing in the last part of the purport that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu completely disapproved this system. And even there are so many disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who are not born in Brahmana's family. So Prabhupada giving example here about Rāmānanda Rāya and Haridas Thakur. And there is a one great personality in India who termed the word as Harijanas. So he want to give entrance to the people in the temple who are low born and everything. So that is not wrong principle, but he has to properly make them qualify by proper method. That's what Prabhupada says. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not rubber stamp everybody as Harijana. So you are Harijana and you became Vaishnava like that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu elevated them. This Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Haridas Thakur, all these people are also low born. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, proper, even Jagai and Mathai, so they are properly made elevated by spiritual samskaras. It's not that just by calling them Harijanas. Who are Harijanas? Prabhupada says Brahma, Narada, Shukadev. Can you call anybody as just by rubber stamping them as Harijanas? So it is such an offense actually towards. So that's how so many things, theories come up because of improper education. And this whole society is compared to a body. In a body, head is compared to Brahmanas, and hands are compared to Kshatriyas. That stomach is compared to Vaishyas, and legs are compared to Shudras. So when the head department is not functioning in a body, so it is such a dangerous situation. And because of this, the whole society misunderstood the caste system only, and people want to completely cast away the caste system. And and they want to make a society, it is like a classless society. And Prabhupada said actually you cannot eliminate the society, classes and everything. Classless society is a useless society, Prabhupada said. So it is there, these classes are there everywhere, wherever you go, in which part of the country, in which part of the society also, these departments are there. Even if you go to a big company also, there are brahmanas are there, who are research and development department. So they are the brahmanas, they do research and they study the market and they introduce new technology. So they are at the behind, they are making strategies. And kshatriyas are there, they execute the ideas. So they are kshatriyas, and vaishyas, those who trade the commodities. So they are also there, and shudras also there. They are working in a shop floor and everything. So that you cannot eliminate. That is the system which created by God. In whichever country you go, whichever society you take, these things will be there. But just because they are not properly executed or functioning, you cannot say this system is wrong. So it is like eliminating the eye only when there is a cataract. So we have to eliminate the cataract, not the eye. So we can see actually how Prabhupada gave very amazing understanding about how to make the system perfect. Actually, to great extent we can see the system is followed in ISKCON. And we have group of brahmanas in the form of GBC, and that is executed, the policies are executed in ISKCON by kshatriyas. We can see temple presidents and all these people. They implement the policies which are made by governing body. And we can see people are doing fundraising and distributing books in the form of so that is like Vaishyas. And some people render some services, simply just follow just follow, like that many are there. So they are also like Shudras, but ultimately everybody is aiming at pleasing the Supreme Lord. For everybody 16 rounds is common, 4 regulative principles is common. So irrespective of whether Brahmana or Vaishya or Shudra, so that is a common thing. So by doing that, we will understand our connectivity. So even though you are Shudra or Vaishya or Brahmana apparently, but if that is missing, that means the purpose is only missing completely. So in that way, it is a very wonderful system Srila Prabhupada created for all of us. So these are some few thoughts upon this verse. Thank you all very much for your patient hearing. Grandhara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.